Now I come up with, well, not come up with, but we have Wrong Turn 2, Dead End, the unrated cut, as if there's a rated cut, because this never went to theaters. But from the first scene alone, I can guess it deserves that sort of rating. But Wrong Turn 2 is directed by Joe Lynch, who I gave some shit about because he was in these documentaries, like his name was Jason. And I think the only reason was that I think there's a lot of other people I'd rather hear from, like, the directors of those films you're doing documentaries on, or the actors. And no, you don't want to talk to the guy who did Wrong Turn 2. I'm like, okay, Grant, maybe he's a fan, but it's like, talk to the people who actually did the movies. But he did a fun movie. I mean, for a direct-to-DVD sequel, you don't expect much, and 9 times out of 10 they're pretty bad. But this is entertaining. I mean, the idea, I kind of like the idea. I know it's been played out, but I think they did this actually pretty good. The whole thing is there's a reality show hosted by Henry Rollins. They're doing a pilot for something called The Apocalypse, where they have like 6 contestants, and if you get like these cards, if you have a radiated card, because it's after the apocalypse, it's all radiation fallout, and if you have a card that's radiated, you gotta do these challenges, and then you pass your card to someone else. And of course, amidst these woods, it's the fucking hillbillies from hell, so to speak. And the thing about the film, do I have problems with it? Yeah, but I'll get to, but it's still a pretty damn solid film. Mainly because, A, you get some decent characters. Not all of them. I mean, you get, your asshole character, you get your slut character, you see your titties, yay. But I really like Henry Rollins, because I really rooted for this guy. I kind of like him as an actor. I liked him in Feast. I thought he did a great job here. It's this guy here. And like later on, like he gets shot with arrows, he gets caught, but he really does fight back. He sort of turns into a sort of Rambo style, where he gets arrows, and he actually has arrows with dynamite, shooting and fucking killing some motherfuckers, blowing them up. And I'm like, yeah. Anytime you get a Rambo type character in a movie like this, I'm all for. So I think Henry Rollins did a great job. But you did 2 characters, like, you did some characters that I remember the first time I saw this, I didn't think would live. Like, you get one girl who's sort of the vegan, and she kind of dresses like a goth chick, but not really. I mean, I shouldn't say that because she doesn't have, like, black. And if you think goth chicks, I guess you think of black, but she kind of seemed that thing, but she was a vegan, and she even admits herself that she's somewhat of a bitch. So you have sort of a bitchy character who's also a vegan, and she's also, she talks to this other girl who you think is going to be the lead because her boyfriend's cheating on her. She didn't want to be in the game, but she is anyway. Then she finds out her boyfriend's cheating on her, so you root for her, you feel sorry, go, oh, okay, she's going to be the lead. But no, she gets an axe right into her fucking head, which I thought they did. I like the way it was shot. It's kind of a different way of doing it. But then you find out more about this vegan character, like, her boyfriend had cheated on her, that's why she's sort of bitchy. She's like, you gotta trust anyone, the only one you can trust is yourself. And like, she has these things on her wrist, and you find out it's because, she's been cutting. And that's why she's there, she really wants the money. You also have this character called Jake, who's the black guy. But I like what they did with it because he's a football guy, but he had injured his shoulder. And he's not an asshole. And he's not a comic relief. He's an actual character, Like, this producer who's filming this camera wants him to hook up with this girl. I want to create chemistry, and she shows her tits. Dad's looking at that and going, what are you doing? He goes, well, I'm trying to create chemistry. And he's like, yeah, if I did that, my mom and 6 nieces would be kind of, pissed. So the guy has morals, is what I'm getting at. He's like, you know what, you do your thing, you go ahead, have fun. I'm going to try to survive and win this game, okay? So I like that. The guy has morals, and the guy tries to help. So, like, this vegan who they sort of had a fight with. Like, the first scene together is, he finds, hey, you dropped this. And she sort of is being bitchy. He goes, well, I'm a vegan, and, like, I'm not here to make friends, so sue me. So he's kind of a bitch to him. He's like, then she finds out he has the sort of little granola nut bar that she dropped. She did that back. She's like, well, I would, but, you know, I'm not here to make friends. So he eats his, like, and he crumples the rest of it. That really piss her off. But hey, she was a bitch. She deserved it. But it's one of those things where you think these characters are going to be the first to die, and they're not. They're the ones who live, which surprises the shit out of me. I'm like, wow, okay, that's cool. And you get some good death scenes, like I didn't mention the opening death scene is the best death scene. We have this girl who, I think she was on American Idol, or she was on one of those things. Something like that. And like she gets her car, and one leads to another, and she gets cut in half. Now you don't actually see like her face, but like you see like she's slammed down. It's like a shot of her legs, and the way it's done is very holy shit. And then basically like then basically both parts are dragged. Like one half is dragged, the other half. It's all practical effects. Like the halves of her body dragged off into the distance. And I'm like, holy shit. I mean, some of the death scenes are pretty good as well. Like Henry Rollins puts like dynamite behind this guy who's working with the hillbillies. I guess he's like a father figure or whatever. He's going to shoot Henry Rollins, but it's like, oh shit. And he blows up in a practical, you know, red, juicy explosion. And again, I like this Jake character, you know, the black character, who's actually a character. And I hated the vegan girl because, like, she runs off on them and then trips and falls. She's like, help me. I'm like, fuck you, bitch. You left them. But, you know, Jake does the right thing, and even though it's fucked up his shoulder, she gets him up. And I guess what made me come around with the vegan girl is that at the end, he sort of, you know, they're attacking him, he's almost going to be killed, she comes back for him, jumps on the fucker's back to save Jake. You know, she's a vegan but bites the fucker's neck. Big old wound. So I'm like, okay, you got some points with me on that. The only problem is, one, the effects on the mutants they're not that good. They're not as good as the first film. That's because Stan Winston or his group wasn't involved with that effects, which is a shame. So, I mean, they're not that great. Also, the ending, it was alright. I think it could have been better. Like, I hate the fact that they killed off Henry Rollins' character. I think he should have lived. I think he did enough kick-ass stuff that he should have lived. Or one of the things like he got shot in the shoulder, whatever, you think he's dead, but he comes back, he's still alive. That I would have been actually fine with. Sometimes that's bullshit, but that I would have actually been fine with. So that pissed me off. Also, you know, he's the one doing most of the killing, and then basically Jake and the vegan girl, they kill like these just last two. And it would have been nice if they would have, you know, gotten more to do at the end. So they're captured, then Henry Rollins gets them out, and then basically they take on these two, and that's it. And they sort of help each other sort of take these two out, so I like that they sort of teamwork. Like, he's about to get, she helps him, then the mutant throws her off, and then Jake, you know, fights him and gets him into this, sort of like this thing that, you know, you put like logs through and it sort of cuts them up. But I like the fact that they help each other out, so I was fine with that. But it would have been nice if they did more, like if they fucked up maybe a little bit more mutants, or if Henry Rollins, you know, was still alive, his character. So that was the only thing. But, you know, for Jake and the vegan to do a little bit more and fighting off or killing some more mutants, for Henry Rollins to be alive, because I think his character should have lived, and the effects of the mutants should have been better. But, you know, still, Wrong Turn 2 Dead End has a lot going for it. I didn't mind the story. I thought the reality show aspect, I think they did a decent job putting that into the plot with this film. I thought it actually worked pretty well. I liked some of the characters. I liked the Jake character. A black guy who has a character. He's not an asshole. He's not a comic relief. And he lives. And actually, I don't... These are the two characters. I don't know if you can even see that. And the vegan girl, she was a decent actress. I actually liked her. Even though I kind of blame the script on making her fucking run and shit like that. But I actually liked her as an actress. It's just the writing kind of fucked up on that. But she redeems herself at the end at least. So, at least in my eyes, she did. You get to see some nudity, some titties, some decent gore. Henry Rollins is a badass in the film. A great kill at the beginning of the flick. And again, it surprised me that the two characters I thought would die, they lived. It surprised the shit out of me. So, yeah, Wrong Turn 2, Dead End. It's a better than average direct-to-DVD movie. And for a sequel to a direct-to-DVD sequel, this is better than average as well. So I gotta give Joe Lynch credit for that. So Wrong Turn 2, Dead End, I liked it. I don't like it as much as this film, but this is still pretty damn decent. More than decent. I like the movie. Fuck it. It's a hell lot better than Wrong Turn 3, which unfortunately I guess I'll have to talk about. Fuck. I hate Wrong Turn 3, but you'll hear more about that later. So, take care.